What's up, everybody? We are going to get started momentarily. We're just going to let people filter in, and we have a slight change coming today, which I will announce here once we get more people in the chat. All right, say hello. I'll try to say your name. There's some people who are waiting already. This time we're doing it on a Saturday. I was just extra busy this week. Max Program, Titus, my mod, what's up? JVS, going to be helping out with super chats, assuming I get any. And Kit, or we'll just say Kumar, Loch Ness, what's up? Demas, Karthik. All right. All righty. The tequila shots. I don't take shots. I partake in the margaritas. Double shot, at least. Okay. All right. So, just a few more seconds. You can notice I have Twitter up, and you'll see why in a second. All right. Time to get started. So basically, we're doing things a little bit differently, and that's because I'm fairly certain in a week from now, or not from now, but this coming Friday, which is what? When is that? That is going to be the 12th, June 12th. This Friday, there's a good chance I'm going to be live streaming at around 10 a.m. on the Free Code Camp channel. All right, so I discuss this opportunity with Quincy Larson of Free Code Camp, and basically he wants me to use Twitter instead for handling the submissions. So you're not going to Discord anymore, and this may be temporary. I'm just doing a test run in anticipation for when, and it looks like it's pretty solid, I do live stream my UI UX show on the Free Code Camp channel on Friday. All right, so here's how you do it. You have your Twitter account. Hopefully you already have one. You just tweet your URL, and then you put in the UI UX review hashtag. It's right here, UI UX review. All right, and then I'll try to get to it in the order they were received. I'm going to take them first come first serve as always. If you do want to send a super chat, then all you have to do is mention your Twitter handle in the super chat. That way, JVS, who's helping me out again today, with the super chats, we'll be able to look up your Twitter profile URL based on your Twitter handle, and he'll see your tweet. So your first tweet with the UI UX reviewed hashtag, and then you can send the super chat with your Twitter handle as the message in the super chat. Hopefully you guys understand and read the description. So we'll go ahead and get started. It looks like I already have a super chat here, but he did not mention this part. Okay, yeah, never mind. Super chat right here. Okay, so all assets were provided by the client. I designed multiple homepage designs for them. All right. All right, so let's see what's happening here. Doesn't look like this is, what do you call? A prototype that you can use. There's multiple home pages. I'm just going to take a look at, trying to see what the difference is between these. They all look pretty similar. So the one issue with this one, I'd have to say, is the biggest problem is the navigation. These links are way too close together. And honestly, I would probably say remove some of them. Try to figure out how you can put these, condense, prioritize a few, maybe remove 2 of them, perhaps, and that way you'll have more room to spread them out because they're just way too big. This icon, the search icon with the little button or the little arrow next to it, completely unnecessary. I would just remove that entirely. Outside of that, where it just says find a class, it's not really telling me anything. I just did a video about good ad copy. And this just says find a class. Well, a class for what? Yeah, there's people working out, but that may not be obvious to some people. So you definitely want to have like a headline and then make a sub-headline, find a class right here. So that's my take on this particular design. We'll go back here. I'm not sure what you changed based on those other home pages. I'll take a look at one more, if it'll load. Come on. I mean, they all look real similar. I can't really see the difference, honestly. For some reason, these aren't loading. So at any rate, what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. Let me know in the YouTube comments. For me, I'm gonna say I think I'll just say 5, or maybe like a 4.8 or something like that. That's what I'm thinking, because really, there's not a lot horribly wrong with it, but we should spread things out a little bit more up here for sure, and it's a little bit just lacking in my opinion. Okay, so let's check out the next one. So we did just get a, okay, well we can just do that then. All right, so we'll just do this .in. Thank you for the super chat, as well as the previous person, by the way. All right, so here's a super chat that just came in. Let's check it out. So first of all, if I reset this to 100% view, we can see at a large viewport resolution, it is quite condensed in the center. We have a lot of unnecessary white space on the left and the right. Secondary to that, we have courses and higher. These are really spread out far apart. You need to get those closer in together. So we had the opposite problem from the first entry. This one, they're spread out too far. Get those closer together. Name, web developer, tutor, and entrepreneur. You know, again, it's one of those things I talked about in my video recently about ad copy. Really, I'm not going to go over it again because I feel like a broken record. I will just say, try to come up with something more unique. Put your name right here as the logo, I would say, and then right here can go a nice catchy headline for that. So I think you just need to really beefing up the scale, especially on this resolution. You know, things should be about that big. I had to zoom up 150%. So things need to be increased in size. This right here, this amount of text, way too much. Nobody's going to sit there and read that for the most part. Right now, when somebody first enters your site, they're going to want to see your work, probably first and foremost in your skills. They're not going to want to read through all this huge text. And the way you have this set up, it seems like it's a just meant to be mobile from the very beginning, but it's not. It hasn't been created in such a way so that you can better utilize all the space available on desktop. So you have no columns essentially, just one column. So I would work on trying to really create a more responsive design that works on desktop. All right, so what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. For me, for this one, I'm gonna have to say 4, maybe high 3s, somewhere around there. Because it could definitely be improved in many regards. What I would do is go to YouTube, I mean not YouTube, but Google and type in something like UI UX portfolios or galleries or portfolios or something like that, just to get more ideas. Thank you for the super chat though. All right, so we got another one of these. This is a landing page called Zillio. All right. So sorry, I was reading something else. All right, so let's take a look. hey, this looks like this background element. It was like from one of my tutorials. That's fine though. I don't care. It's fine if people use that, assuming that that's where that came from. Maybe it didn't. All right, so let's scroll down. Okay. So the first thing I looked at, or the first thing that caught my eye, is the lack of white space between the nav bar right up here in the logo in the area and this section. That should be pushed way down. So like if sometimes this doesn't always work out based on, you know, what's happening with the CSS, but I'm going to try it. Yeah. So like for M units, I mean, this should be pushed way down. And then this over here, whatever this image is, pushed to the right so that these don't, where it says minutes, it doesn't overlap. Push that over there. And then secondary to this is this section. Like this should completely be pushed down. Margin top. At least 4 M units. This as well should be like margin top. So notice how I've spread everything out here. Now, if I refresh this, you're going to see the original. And just look how much more cramped it becomes when my changes aren't there. So you definitely want to spread things out a lot more. That's the first issue, I would say. Next up after here, again, you need to spread things out more. There's a lot of text here. Not a ton of white space. Not enough separation, visual hierarchy between your type elements. So like we have this small one here, and then this is slightly larger. We should do, all right, it is font weight bold, but the font size, let's do like 3 M units. Now that's a little bit better. All the features you need. Now this becomes the primary headline. This is like a sub headline. That's a little bit better. So you just need to work on your visual hierarchy in relation to your type, and also spread things out more. All right, so what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. For me, I'm gonna go ahead and say for this, a 5.5 or so. It looks like you guys agree for the most part, just as a quick glance over here. All right, so we got a couple more super chats. It's a YouTube promotion service app. All right. Thank you for the super chat. Now see, this one has a lot better spacing, vertical spacing, and white space in general. I would say one area that should be improved is this is a little bit clumped together, all 3 of these elements, your headline, sub-headline, and this area. So you could at least take this element, where is it at? And we'll do like a margin top. There, like 2 M units, and now we space it out, and this probably could be a little bit smaller in font size, and maybe push down a little bit as well. Otherwise, here's what it looked like before. It's just kind of like all cluttered together, a little bit too much, but still good white space here in this area. Taking a look at the rest of this, probably too much white space on top, very little on bottom. So you could probably definitely move this up to right around here. And again, right here, your typography between your title or your labels and the description, these could be a lot smaller. Maybe not a lot, but a fair amount smaller. So like font size, you're using pixels. I probably wouldn't use pixels for font size. So I would do like 1 M unit. There you go. That's a lot better already in my opinion. I would bold these up. So again, I'm noticing issues just with your typography and your visual hierarchy. So this should be font weight bold. There we go. Maybe slightly change the scale of this. Again, 1 M unit would probably work. So like I like this one a little bit better. Maybe 1.1 or 1.2 M units. So if I show you the difference, if I refresh, we'll see the original. It's just like, it's hard to distinguish between these two because they are two different things. Again, just spread these out a little bit more. Smaller font size there. All right, pretty good overall. What do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. I'm not going to look at your answers. I don't like to be influenced. See like how close you guys get to me. Me personally, I'm going to give this one a... It's pretty. There's some pretty... I mean, I like the illustrations. I like the colors. There's a lot going right here, though. I'm going to say... like a 7.1, I think. Yeah. Maybe 7.3, maybe slightly higher. All right, good stuff. All right. Let's close some of these out. Close that out. All right. We have one more super chat in the queue. All right. Portfolio. Ooh. All right. This is an interesting one. Let's see what this looks like on mobile. All right. I think I like the mobile version better. Give your company the website it deserves. See, I like that headline a lot better than just a person's name or UI UX developer or whatever. This is unique. I like this. I'm here to bring tangible, smart, and creative web solutions. I like that too. I'd say this background right here a little bit heavy on the contrast and the colors because it takes away from the focus of this type right here, which is really important. So you could do something like maybe just not make it quite as contrasty, or you can make it darker. You can like darken it a little bit so that this stuff in the foreground comes out a little bit more. On this, I'm on a 4K resolution. I would probably have this at a certain width, maybe right around here. Center this in and fix the container so that it doesn't expand all the way out, because now I have to scan from here to here to here, and that's not good. It's annoying, and it also breaks the layout because there's so much white space between it. So up to a certain point you can make it fluid, but then stop it like right around here with the media query and give it like a fixed width. I like the type. The icons are pretty good. Might be cool to make the shadow part just like slightly darker than this background right here instead of making them white. It's throwing me off a little bit. Contact form, another perfect example where you should definitely, I wouldn't make it any larger than this right here because this starts to become unusable. It's like these huge form elements. Definitely don't want that. Send message button shouldn't really be the same color. It's almost the same. It's almost like a white here. Make that like a primary call to action, a primary color, like this blue or maybe this orange. All right, so what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. For me, I'm going to give this one a 6. Yes, a 6. A good old 6. I think it's a pretty solid 6 as it stands. All right. Next up. Next up is going to be one of the regular reviews. So, let's see here. We don't have any more super chats in the queue. Again, if you guys want to skip the waiting period, you can send a super chat. 400. This must be a lot of money. What is that to US dollars? I'm not familiar with a lot of the currencies that people submit, because sometimes they submit like 400 of some other currency that only equates to like $2 or whatever. But this has to be pretty good because it's like up there for a long time. How much is that to US dollars? Let me know in the chat. Okay, let's go ahead. This one, show this thread. Let me see. Okay, well, he didn't give me an actual URL, so we're going to go to the next one. Is it $5 or $50? Titus, what is that? What is 0:0015 $? Okay, so it must be $5.84. All right, still cool. Thank you for the submission. All right, here we go. Hi, my name is Amir Jacobs, and here's what I'm capable of. You know, it's kind of strange about that. It's like, here's what I'm capable of, and I was thinking of like maybe these icons could be like, at first glance before I looked at them, were like skills, like PHP icon or freaking Node.js or something. Now it just seems like here's what I'm capable of is like LinkedIn and email or something. It just seemed a little bit off. I would change this verbiage a little bit. This tells nobody really what you're doing or what you're about. You have your name, and here's what I'm capable of. What are you? Are you a designer? Are you a developer? I'm not sure. There's also no call to action. Yeah, we have a call to action here with the LinkedIn, but these are just little social media icons. You should have a button, like check out my work or something like that. All right. I like the nice white space and the subtle changes between this very light gray right here. Like I said, good white space, pretty good. I'd probably push you down just a tad bit away from this SAS icon there. Yeah, I mean at this point, this portion is a lot better than I would just say like what's happening up here. So I would definitely improve that. Another thing, and this is one of my UX pet peeves that I released in my last video yesterday, is a contact form without a form, or a contact section without a form. Don't just have an email me button, because people could be on their phones and they may not have their email client set up, and then they'll just forget about you. They'll forget to like go home and do it on your desktop. So always have an actual form with a name, email, and message. So always do that. All right, so what do you guys think this person should get for their rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Let's see what he's talking about here. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'll get to you, buddy. All right, for me, for this one, I'm going to give this one, again, I think it's going to be just another 6 or so, because there's a lot happening, right? But I think that initial area at the top, the hero section, definitely needs improvement. I think if you can, I mean, it's probably like a 6.5, honestly. Okay. I screwed up this person's submission. I didn't scroll up. That's why I was wondering. Oh, it's supposed to be in the middle. Okay. I was kind of confused. I wasn't sure if that was intentional or not. All right, so let's see. My attempt at okay, so this is one of the random UIs. At the beginning of last week, I did like this challenge called Random UI. I think we'll check out a few at the end, but I'm still going to do this one because they want me to review it. So let's click that. Grocery shopping and delivery service app that will find the right service or agent. All right. Here it is. Shop agent. All right. You don't have to worry about grocery shopping anymore. Blah, blah, blah. Find agents near you. All right, that's not too bad. I'd probably move this illustration up a bit because it seems a little bit out of place. So that I'd center it between, you know, I would say also the line height between these two, probably you could shrink that a little bit. These seem pretty far apart. So, I mean, it should be right up here. Same thing with this one. One thing I would do is, like, when it comes to your call to action buttons, I would never make them the same color. Someone else did that earlier today for a review. Use a different color background for the sign up. Something that works well with this purple, but is also different from this, because it is an action, you know, that you want people to take. So separate those. All right, what do you guys think this person should get for their mock-up? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Again, I'm just gonna say another 6 in my opinion. Yep. I think things were kind of really large, like a little bit too large. Like the type. Everything just feels real big. Maybe that's because of the XD document. All right. Next up. So let's see here. Please review this app. Still working on it. All right. So major issues with contrast and color, but I do like it. Some other things about it though. So there's a lot happening right here. He said he is still working on it, but this is strange. So this hello, like, first of all, I don't like that it's the first letter is like, let's see here. This should be capitalized. And then also, oh, we got a BR there. We got a line break. That's kind of strange. This isn't even encased in any type of HTML element. Definitely want to rework that. And I think there needs to be more white space. Margin bottom. Which it's not even working anyways. But yeah, the hello sitting on top of there, I don't really like that. Outside of that, I do like the navigation here. Almost. The LinkedIn, this should be a white icon with like a bluish, the N should be blue. The Instagram doesn't really, you know, work well. Make that white as well. I do like, you know, the nice subtle different container here. It's kind of like a Bezier curve. I like the cards. The cards are pretty good. The About Us section. This section is pretty solid. Probably make this all bold just to separate it from this text more. I really like this section for sure for the contact. Nice use of just graphic design elements. Not sure what this will be. Probably just a portfolio section. Yeah, this is all pretty solid, but there's some weird things that aren't solid. So what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. I don't know what that slider is. It doesn't do anything. So that is a little bit strange. It does feel like something that you're supposed to click. So that's a bad for UX there. All right, for me, I'm going to give this a rating of 7.3. Because, I mean, a lot of it's real solid. I like it. It's just some small areas that could be improved. All right. Next up, no one wants to give me money. That's fine though, no big deal. So here is the redesign of my portfolio. Very much a work in progress, but design scheme will continue throughout the rest of the application. It has 3 themes. All right, let's check it out. Cameron Stark, designing a building to improve user productivity. All right, here's something you don't want to do. We've encased these labels. These are just labels. They're nothing you can click, but they're made into buttons. They look like buttons. So then we have a button right here where it says projects, and that's no good either. So you definitely want to separate this out a little bit more, because it is also lacking visual hierarchy. It's like, okay, we're going to see this, but then our eyes are drawn to these labels, which isn't important as this section, the headline. So rethink about how you're going to list these out, and then your projects button. If you want to stick with the monochromatic format, looks like everything's like white and gray, that's fine. But again, fix these over here. Now for this, where it says Stark, I would make that more of a watermark, meaning even less contrast than it is now, and just move that up over here possibly. That way you don't just have a big old area that says Stark here. I think there needs to be at least something near it or over the top of it if it's going to be like this watermark type of approach. I mean, you could leave it there, but take About Me in this section and put it up, like starting like right around here. So having everything encased in these blocks like this definitely makes things feel a little bit just blocky, right? So I would rethink about how I do this right here. I mean, you could probably just get rid of these entirely, like the background color of those. And look at that. I think that's 1,000 times better. It's the difference between, like, you know, depending on where you at, what the home architecture is like in your country or wherever you live. For in the United States, you know, houses made back in like the 50s, 60s, 70s, or whatever, 80s, they're real like blocky. A lot of them, like there's everything has its own room, and I personally don't like that. And I like a more open floor plan, like everything's open and you can just breathe better, in my opinion. That's the same thing right here. So you don't want to encase everything in just, you know, in blocks, and everything feels real compartmentalized and blocky. All right, so what do you guys think this person should get for a rating for their design? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. We're at 32 minutes. We'll be doing this for 28 more. All right, that's cool. Works pretty well with the now this color, I would change that because this doesn't really contrast enough with this background. Oh, we got a new morphism. All right, I'm gonna give this one just a flat out 6, which it seems like a lot of you are agreeing, maybe a little bit less. More harsh critics, I suppose you could say. Super chat. We have a super chat from this person whose name I cannot pronounce, so I won't even try it. It's for a tournament organizer from Asia for Rocket League. What's Rocket League? I know, it's probably some type of multiplayer game, I think. I don't know. All right, APL Sports. All right, pretty good section right here with the typography laid out. This right here, this little icon, I feel like that could be like a little bit bigger and just brought over here in the center. Let's see here. All right, now this is a no-no. Notice how we have these are probably what, like latest stories or something. You don't want to have where it says, okay, so it says featured news, but the thumbnail contains text inside of it, and so it just throws off the flow. It makes it confusing. So I would always use thumbnails that are a part of like your article or your blog title or something like that, your blog post. Try to make them without actual words in them. It just makes things so much easier, especially if you have like text laid on top of them. So you can see the text here, but if you hover over it, you can't even read it really. So you got to think about those things as much as possible. Featured tournament. This is a little bit better of a section. Latest tweet. I don't like the alignment on that. I know you have a column here, but then this is centered over there, which I know you probably can't really control it because it's an embed from Twitter. But try to think about how you can maybe get this latest tweet part maybe over here or something like that. All right, so what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. For me, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 6.6. Yeah, I think so. Yep, that's what I'm going to go with. All right, thank you for that super chat. Next up, here is just a picture. Oh wait, no, it's a full-on. Let's do copy image address. I wish you would have given this to me a little bit bigger, because now I have to zoom up just to see it, and now it's pixelated as all living hell. From the looks of it, it looks pretty good. But it does look like there's hardly any contrast here with these elements. But again, it's so blurred in order for me to see it. This looks pretty solid. What is this anyways? I'm wondering if maybe I didn't get a higher version with this or something. A higher quality version. Oh well. I can't even review it just because it's too small. It looks really solid though. I wish I could see it without all the blur, though. Sorry about that. Next time, try to submit just like a prototype URL, like in Figma or Adobe XD. All right, next up. A Wix site. Oh no, a Wix site URL. I'm kind of scared. Oh my god. Oh my god. What is happening here? Hey, stop that. Timeout. So yeah, I mean, this is probably what, from the Wix generator or something. Assuming this is a serious submission, you're gonna have to really revamp. You're gonna have to start over from scratch. And you know what? You know what you would really benefit from, along with many other people, is my Scrimba course. So I'm going to teach UI design in my UI design bootcamp right here. Go here to scrimba.com, find my bootcamp, and then take it. There's a free 1-hour version that's on their site too. The first hour of this is actually free if you find the other one. And it's going to help you tremendously, massively. Just take the whole course. It's like 9 hours long. And you're going to be much better. So let's do a rating for this, just for the fun of it. 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. Factory picture, it says, for a heading. I love it. Guy who do work, I don't know. Okay. All right. Maybe this was a troll. I mean, I know there are people who, you know, do stuff like this. All right. I'm going to give this one a 0.03 just because I can't go any lower than 1, so I don't have a 0. That is the worst I've ever seen. All right, next up. Oh, here's the higher resolution version of the one that I couldn't do. All right, so this is a little bit better. Yeah, so not enough contrast up here. Hell no on the contrast, like way too low contrast. I mean, come on, make those things white or near white. Same thing with login with Discord. You can barely see it. I like this section. This is pretty good. I like this area. This is pretty good. A little bit funky on the alignment here. I'd probably just take these and push them over here and separate them out. This is pretty solid. Yeah, that's pretty solid. What do you think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. For me, I'm going to give this one a 8. Yeah. And it looks like you guys agree. Next up. All right, everyone's DNA is unique. Wait, what is this? Oh, is that like an... Oh, it's a freaking ad. Never mind. It's from 7 Day 7 Design Challenge. Well, I'm not going to really be reviewing those ones, just because that's kind of old, and it's really just using my old thing. So I'm not going to bother with a review for that particular one. I'm trying to look for ones right now that are like 100% unique. Landing page for a hackathon we organized in Barcelona. Well, that's unique. Look at that parallax effect. That's kind of cool. Definitely one of the most unique entries we've ever had. A little bit compartmentalized with that blocky fill, just with having 2 rows like this encased in this area. I mean, it's not horrible, but we definitely, on this resolution at least, have enough room for a 2-column approach for both of these elements right here. This is looking pretty good. If you can, maybe separate these out a little bit more vertically, just a tad bit. Again, that blocky feel, a lot of square blocks over here. So I would try to just break free of all the blockiness. But this is really cool. I would change the type inside of it a little bit, just because I would probably scale things down and maybe just organize it a little bit better in this section right here. The rest of this stuff is cool over here. I'm just not a big fan of the type that's inside of here and how that's laid out. But this is really cool. What might be cooler is if you went all the way 100% to the right and to the left. But yeah, really cool. What do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. For me, I'm going to go ahead and give that a 7.3. I know a lot of you guys are saying a lot higher. And this is cool and all, but I think there's, in overall, just taking everything in terms of all-encompassing, I think it could be improved. Just the blockiness is what kind of hurt it for me. I think this is really cool, though. All right. Here's another one. 21 screens. All right. I am like starving insanely. Okay. Learn from the best. How many? Oh, there's a lot of screens here. All right. Not too bad here. How do I sign in? Okay, so it seems like that's all that was. Everything seems simple enough. I don't see anything that's like really coming out that's I don't see a logo of any sort though, and that's kind of strange. Let's go to the main UI. It looks like this. Oh, okay. So this is looking pretty cool here. I'd probably make notice board a little bit, like maybe bold. That way you separate these two out. Now this section down here where it says practice set for these cards, everything's centered, it looks like, and that doesn't work at all. Left align those. So set one starts here. This little icon with chemistry maybe is over there. It just doesn't look very structured when you center align all of these various elements. All right, so what do you guys think the person should get for their rating for this one? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Yeah, for me, I'm just gonna give this it's just like it's nothing crazy's happened here. Like, extraordinary, but there's nothing really wrong either. So I'm gonna give it a 7. All right. Why am I so hungry? I'm like dying. All right. Sam Nan. I can't believe he wasn't first. I think we already reviewed this one. Yes, we did. Looks like you made some adjustments to it based on what I said. I think there were some issues with like contrast or something like that. So it definitely does seem improved from what I can recall and what I can remember. Hopefully you actually did change it. I'm not sure why it's so small. Like I'd like to increase the scale, but I can't, which is kind of strange, but you know, whatever. Pretty solid. I'm not sure about the hover color being like slightly this purplish. It's kind of off a little bit. So I would probably change that up. That's the one thing. Just because this is so similar to the last submission, we're not going to bother with the rating. We already rated it. It does seem like it was improved though. All right, next up. We already saw that one. A wedding suppliers directory. Let's scroll down. All right. You know what you could probably do? You could position these two individuals right here a little bit more to the right, or maybe you're just right around there. Bring up the, actually give them more contrast and brighten up the image more. And then take this and left align it slightly over here so that you can really see them. But you can also see, you know, this, because this is a dark image over here anyways. It's a dark part of the photograph. So even if you lighten this up, there'll still be enough contrast over here, and then you could really bring them out more by increasing the contrast of the photograph. So that's what I would do, because it's a good photo. Pretty good section right here. Now these cards are kind of problematic because it's hard to read some of these labels right here. So think of another way that you can increase the contrast if you're going to have these labels on top of them like that. Now, when you hover over them like that, yeah, it's fine. But at the same time, you don't want people to strain when they're not hovering over them. So think of another way that you could do that. There's a lot of ways. I mean, you can, with CSS alone, you can create like a gradient, a dark gradient that starts here and then goes up and then fades off. And that way it increases the contrast behind those elements. Right here, just a little bit too much happening in some of these. All right, pretty solid though otherwise. What do you guys think for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best? For me, I'm going to give this a 7 or so. Looks like most of you agree. Yep. And my dog is barking. All right. Okay, so there's a major problem here. What happened? So it looks like this is almost like a one of those text fields with an underline, and so that's throwing me off. And then it's also throwing me off when it just hides like that. The blue button, I mean the get started blue button, you know, I would fill that in solid blue, not like this. It's too liney. Get rid of the border because the border is just confusing. If you want to keep it, make it just barely lighter than the black background. And you can see there's a lot of border approaches. You could do that, but just like make them really like watermarks, which is like just lighter, barely lighter than the background itself. This gets lost as well. The hamburger icon menu, it's just because it's blue, like this darker blue on a black. You know, I would change that as well. Yeah, just a little bit. It's very strange because I didn't even notice the scroll bar moving. I would probably just get rid of this huge border around here and just scale it out all the way. Now this is one of those issues with forms that I've talked about recently, one of my form-based videos, and you should never do just solely underline only text fields or form elements. Some people will get confused and think that they're borders or something. So always try to have a clear, defined, rectangular, box for your form fields. All right, what do you guys think this person deserves for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. For me, I'm just gonna do like a 6, 5.8 maybe. It looks like you guys are being a little bit more harsh than me. All right. Who is up next? Oh, we have a super chat. A website under construction I've been working on lately. Okay, let's check it out. Thank you for the super chats. By the way, no more super chats. This should be the last one. No more. Don't send a super chat. Oh my God, somebody sent a super chat. Fine, I'll do this, but last one, and that's it after that. All right, let's check this out. Oh, let's refresh. Nice little subtle animation. Got parallax. Lack of visual hierarchy in this section between the labels and the text right here. So like font size. That's better. 0.8 rem units, a little bit better instead of 1 or whatever it was. It'd be nice if like it automatically slid into place, because like right here you're kind of just, it's like a little bit strange having this big white space, big amount of white space. So maybe reduce the white space between those sections. And I also think your get started button should be first and learn more should be secondary, especially with how you design them. This one's clearly the most important one, so put it first, left to right. A little bit more, and also if these are clickable, definitely make sure that the cursor is pointer, and spread them out a little bit more. A little bit more white space between those elements. All right, pretty solid. What do you guys think this person should get for a rating for the design? Oh, this is also one of those things, like the scroll bar has been customized and it's so tiny I can barely click it. So that's bad UX. Make sure you beefing that up. That was also one of my UX pet peeves for my video yesterday. I think it was, or if it wasn't, I should have included it. All right, so for this one, I'm gonna give it, I think it's just like a solid 7. Because it is pretty solid in some regards. All right. Last one. Last super chat. All right. All right. I'd probably try to get a little bit better of a photo, if you could. Hello, I'm blah blah, full stack developer. You could probably make this whole section, the type, a little bit larger. It seems a little bit small in this area. Also, the Bezier curve here, that's fine, but then it just ends right here. I would rethink that because it looks strange having like this flat line and then there's nothing in it and it's just like it ends right there. What you could do is extend this all the way down, and that becomes the background color of this section. I'd probably make this like black instead of the same color as this area. And bold, maybe a little bit larger. This section here is pretty decent with the type and how it's spaced out. I like this section a lot. I like these cards. Nice, vibrant, Nice icons like that. That's the best section so far right here. Visit link being black is a little bit strange. Maybe encase that in an actual button container. And probably reduce the amount of glow there quite a bit. Also use actual text labels. Don't rely on placeholder values. That's a bad UX thing. All right, so what do you think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. Oh my God. For this one, I'm going to give it a 6.8, I think. It's close to a 7. All right, awesome stuff. So I'm going to call it quits there just because I have a headache and I'm really freaking hungry. So we got to 57 minutes basically. I'm happy with that. So yeah, I think it's pretty much should be official shortly that I'm going to be live streaming this same exact show that I do for an hour on the Free Code Camp channel on June 12th, which is this coming Friday. They're holding some sort of summit, I think. Yeah, it's this Friday. They're holding some sort of summit type live stream at 9 a.m. Eastern time to 10. And then right afterwards, I'm going to be on for an hour doing this show. So that should be cool. And we're going to be using Twitter for that. That's why I did Twitter for this, to make sure it all worked. And it worked perfectly fine. All right, so I will see you guys real soon with my regular 2 videos this coming week. And then perhaps, it looks like it's pretty certain, the live stream on Free Code Camp. All right, thanks for the super chats, everybody, and everybody for helping me, JBS, and everybody else for commenting.